for us. Well, I'm joined now by Ayalon, a former Israeli Deputy Foreign Minister and Ambassador to the US. Thanks so much for joining me this morning. I guess the first question is what we've seen over the last few days, the last week or so. Is it proportionate action by Israel?
Well, of course, it's in the eye of the beholder, but it has been a spiraling down of terror activities from Jenin. Jenin has become really a no-man's land, and this is unfortunate because according to all the agreements with the Palestinians, when the Palestinian Authority has been actually established, they were supposed to keep law and order, but they are nowhere to be seen over there. So we have the northern areas of the West Bank, namely Jenin and Nablus as well, is where attacks kept, coming in increasing waves, and dozens of Israelis were just in the last few days were killed. There was no safety on the roads. They also were trying to lob rockets from there as well to build a real infrastructure like they do have in Gaza. So I don't think that the IDF or the Israel had any other choice but just to go in for a mop-up to clean up. And I hope there won't be too much collateral damage, or I think most of those who were killed were terrorists, armed terrorists, and many were captured alive. So I think, in the scheme of things, I would say it had to be done, and probably it's quite proportionate.
I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the number of troops that have been sent in, nearly 1,000. There's also been talk about the fact that armed drones have been used for the first time in a long time. Is that something that is a step too far, or is it something that can help a targeted approach with all of this? And again, comes back to that topic of what tactics are proportionate.
Sure. Well, Wilfred, I can tell you that in order basically to save lives, not just of Israeli soldiers, but also of Palestinians, you have to use overwhelming force, because with overwhelming force, you can really kind of try and stem any violence or any shooting from the targets in the Jenin area. And unfortunately, also they found some piers where they were going to build underground tunnels. So once you take a place like that, you have to use overwhelming power. Also, when you use the drones, it's also for accuracy, and Israeli drones have been known for real accuracy in order to actually avoid hitting people who are not involved. So I know the numbers seem, maybe huge, but this is a tactical way, basically, to make sure the operation not only is a success, but with minimum casualties.
What do you make of the seeming divisions, or at least a proportion of dissent within Netanyahu's cabinet towards the scale of this action? Because a lot of people suggest, of course, it's one of Israel's most right-of-centre coalitions in power for a very long time, and yet it's not even united on the scale of this force.
Well, this is, by the way, you see that, Wilfred, also on the streets of Israel, which also many Israelis, probably about half of Israelis, do look at this government as extremist government, as irresponsible governments, and they say so. And I can tell you that I do pity Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister, because he built a coalition where many of his ministers very much are on his right and actually pushing him for more action. And he has been the one actually who is keeping it in a kind of a normal way. But Israelis are not happy with his government. All the surveys and the polls show if elections were held today, this government would not be in power anymore.
Danny, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.